and welcome to another episode of Literary Liberation Podcast. Today we will be discussing, analyzing, and reviewing the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinneman. I said it right this time. I'm very proud of myself. Anyways,
The
for
third
more content outside, this is the third
installment
yeah, this is
of
the
Dungeon
third.
Carl, if you don't know.
We're doing it, okay? At this point, you should fucking know. I'm sorry. If you're here,
Also,
you know it's the third one. For more content outside of the podcast, please check out our Instagram and TikTok at Literary Liberation and Twitter at LitLibPodcast. I'm your co-host Mariah, and you can find me at Hungry Rye on all social media platforms.
and I'm your co-host Kristen. You can find me at KRXXTXN on all social media platforms or at TinsTBR on Instagram because Mariah wants me to shout that out. As I was saying, I don't know where it's coming off at, but basically, this is the third installment to Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you haven't read any of these, Mariah and I strongly recommend all of these. There will be spoilers for all three of these. It won't be like a typical episode. We're releasing these all throughout the year leading up to the new one being released, and we highly recommend. We've read the first three and we've adored them all, so we highly recommend them across everything so far. And from my understanding, it just keeps getting better and better. So I'm assuming we will continue to recommend these. So I would say just go ahead and read them if you haven't already. But this will be, if you've read up to the Anarchist Cookbook, then you're good.
Yes, and if you don't know, maybe you're on the second book and you're wondering about reading the third book. This one is a lot different than the first two. The world building is very confusing because they're writing the Iron Tangle and it's like a train based one. So I do think you should check it out and read it. Continue the series.
Yes.
But just know going into this, it's a little bit more confusing
Yes, which
in some
my
aspects.
book had at the beginning there was an author's note saying like it is intentionally confusing because like even Carl, I don't think he knows what goes on the whole time. Even at the ending, whenever it's kind of explained, I don't think he gets it then either. So it's not really something you have to get it. But I would say if you've read like Project Hail Mary and like if you just kind of like ignore the sciencey bits and you still get like the overall picture, that's kind of how you can read this and you'll be fine.
Yeah, you can get through it, but I do think that could cause some. It's something
It is
worth
confusing.
mentioning.
Yes, like it objectively is confusing, but that's also intentional.
So what else did we wanna get into? We will keep it short in the beginning because if you wanna know anything about the author, we covered it in the first episode. I haven't seen anything come out in the like weeks since we have finished the first book. No controversy surrounding Matt. I just know that he was doing a giveaway on his Facebook. You might still be able to join it. I don't know at the time of this posting, but it was a giveaway through the publisher for all of the
The
books, the trad
hardbacks.
published books. So I entered.
I
I
entered
was
too,
like, "Free
even though I
books?
have half of
I'll
them.
take it." I know they're very expensive. You don't know this is, like, one of the things I see on Reddit a lot is, like, why are they so expensive? I don't know.
The
They just
newest one
are.
is like $40, which is kind of crazy, but I'm also gonna buy it. So
Which is I think what's crazy is I paid $40 for the new translation of Capital,
yeah, but that's like fancy.
and
Which I
that's,
mean,
like,
like,
1,000 pages.
but I do know it is longer too. Like it is like 800 pages or something, I think. So like I do think it's probably worth your time if it takes you. I don't know how long the audiobook is for it.
If
Wait,
it's 800 pages, I'm willing to bet that the audiobook is probably gonna be sitting at, like, 22 hours. That's my guess.
23 hours and 33 minutes.
Oh, that was not that far off.
Okay, but so if you think about it, you're
Yes.
getting almost a full 24 hours of content for $40. I feel like that's not that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, which what I do for these books too, which I highly recommend to anybody who uh reads these is audiobook and physically reading the book. That is what I do, that is what my boyfriend does, and we both like I cannot read these books without the audiobook with them because it just like locks me in so deeply because the audiobook Jeff Hayes narrates the audiobooks and I've never heard a more perfect man to do all of these voices. He does a perfect Carl. He does a perfect Princess Donut. He does a perfect Katya. Like all of the characters are have their own individual and unique voices, so you don't necessarily need read the book with it. But I just love the way that it works together, and it keeps me invested. Like I like sit down, I read this. Like I'll read for hours at a time without getting distracted because I have the audiobook keeping me going too. And so I would say like if you can, which like there are definitely other ways to get audiobooks, you know? So like don't necessarily I don't say that you have to support Audible or anything like that, but it is an Audible exclusive. But I would say like if you end up having like free credits or anything like that, this is what you want your audiobook credits going to. For sure.
I
It's so
can
worth it.
concur. I have only listened to, like, the first chapter because I did get it was on sale. It was, like, 7.99 or something for the
Mhm.
audiobook for the first one, and it is narrated very well. I don't listen to a lot of fiction, as audiobooks. I primarily listen to nonfiction, but I do think it's told very well. I think anyone if you're not somebody that listens to fiction audiobooks, you can find a lot of enjoyment in it, and it does seem that other people are finding enjoyment in this because they are so highly rated.
Yes. Even the audiobooks are higher rated than the actual books. So, like, this book right here has 4.48 stars on Goodreads out of 55K ratings. This on Audible has 4.9, or the newest one has 4.9 out of 20K listens. So, I can check whatever the other one is. So, for the Anarchist Cookbook, out of 20.5K listens, 4.9 stars. So, the audiobook is, like, rated higher. I think every audiobook is, like, 4.9 stars. So, like, people objectively love the audiobook. So, I will say, like and I put that bitch on 2.5 times speed, and I'm reading the physical book too. So, it's going so fast for me, so I feel like it makes it so that I read them so much faster. I, like, plow through them. And I'm so excited for
For
this
this
next one because it's so long.
Kristen, this is yeah.
This is my
This has
Roman
been
Empire.
this is the year. This is the year that we have finally moved beyond Lee Bardugo, and we have somebody new for Kristen to reference on the reg, which is very nice because we've had a lot of like, this is not Six of Crows. We are here. We've made it. We
I
have a
mean,
new one.
I don't know. I think it's so funny because like I have not seen any negative reviews about these books, and I feel like whenever I was like first like starting out, I was like, I don't know, like there's no way everybody likes it. But like also with like my book talk post today, I have like Dungeon Crawl Carl on my 5 stars, which Dungeon Crawl Carl technically is not a 5 star book, but I know it's a 5 star series, so that's why I put it there. But literally everybody in the comments is like, I love Carl. Like I've never seen a negative review once. Just
No,
whenever we were
everyone
initially
loves
looking.
fucking Carl. Like, they
It
love Carl.
uh, who can blame them? You know?
N And even this one, which I had my qualms with this one, this is the lowest rated one I've had so far. I had a hard time with it, it wasn't, like, super engaging. My rating, I gave it 4.25 stars out of 5, unfortunately. I know it's a lot of people's favorite book in the whole series.
Really?
I just had a really hard time with it, and I really enjoyed the first 2, and this one, like, there was action and stuff, but there wasn't anything to keep me, like, as engaged. I was really excited by the second one, um, because of the way the second one has, like, the lore, these side quests, and I was stoked. I was so stoked. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get more of that," and I think it would have made it more engaging with the Tangle if we had just, like, one good quest, but really the quest line is understanding, like, how the Tangle functions, and I was
Yeah.
just like, it's kind of it just was, and we'll get into, like, what that means. But I also know that Kristen has rated this, I think, lower than any of the other ones as well.
I gave this one 4.5 stars, which yes, technically is my lowest because I gave the first one 4.75 stars and I give the second one 5 stars. So this is technically my lowest, but it is still like it's still Carl. Like but
Yeah.
like objectively, like I think I ended up probably would have rating it higher because I was reading it faster than Mariah was, and I wanted to be done with it basically right before we recorded too. If anybody listens to the podcast, they know like I'm reading books right until we're recording because I want it fresh on my mind. Because as soon as I finish it, the thoughts are out of my brain. So, I wanted to read this as close as possible. So I did take, like, a week-long gap to make sure that I was finishing it yesterday as close as I could've to us recording today, and I do think that maybe if I didn't take such a long gap at, like, the halfway point, I could've ended up rating it at least maybe a 4.75. I don't think it's a five-star book, but I do love a lot of the dynamics. I do think this is are really good sequels because you get everything that you want in a sequel for books. You get more character development, more character dynamics, and other, like, aspects that are built upon that you want in a sequel, which, like, I don't
You
think
know
e
what I think? This one is like the 2nd book in a series. That's what it reminded me of, whereas, like, the book 2 that's technically felt like a novella.
Yes, I can see because the second one does feel shorter in a way, and I think that makes sense because we know they're gonna keep getting longer and longer too because the floors get harder and the floors get longer and stuff like that. So I think that's the problem with, like, floor 3 but I think that was, like, the problem with, like, 1 and 2 being in the first book and then floor 3 being its own book, where I feel like almost it would've made more sense to, like, at least put 2 and 3 maybe in the second book, if that makes sense?
I think Matt Dinniman self-published these up until last
Yeah,
year
like,
too, so
recently.
I don't know that Matt had an agent. I don't
Or an
know exactly what
editor.
the editor situation. So I think it would've made more sense to have them broken up 1 floor per
I agree,
book,
yes.
but I
What
just
can
think
you
it is
do?
the way like, the first one is just so strong, like, it is such a
Yes.
strong first book, and the second one is also a very strong supported second book, but it just felt like
It did feel
1
shorter, I know what you're
degree
saying.
off
Yeah.
of the first book, like, it felt like it could have been in the first book, like, the first 3 could have been, like, 1 book, the way that they're rated
Like, one
like,
really
the
long book.
pacing. Yes, it could have been 1 really long book, and then this one, I don't know.
I can
I
understand
don't
what
know
you
what
mean,
Matt was
like,
working
it's
with.
like second book syndrome where
Yes, yes.
like, because I do think that sometimes can happen, especially for, like, other series and stuff, like, it's if they're not a duology, if they are, like, a longer series, I do think that, like, you can be limited, and I think because of the dynamics of this floor, it was more limited because there were, like, no side quests and no, like, major NPCs, and then also, like, again, this is spoilers for this book, so if you haven't read it, stop and listen, but, like, I think Mordecai's character missing from the majority of the book was frustrating too, because I love
Yes,
Mordecai,
and
and I
I
think
which I get it, they took him out because they were leaning, really heavily on Mordecai too. I know that
Mhm.
there's, like, him getting in trouble. They intentionally
Yes.
did that because I think they knew how much of a powerhouse that they were being in the game, and people probably the ratings were reflecting this. So they're like, "Okay, we're gonna find a way to bait Mordecai into violating the rules."
Yes.
So, I do think that was intentional, but his character is just he's like the grumpy, like, comedic relief. He
Yes.
functions as so many different characters in this when you need them most, and I'm glad Katya finally got her characterization. She got built up. We got
Yes, a
more
lot.
on, like, Hecla and the girls. I thought that
Eve,
was really nice.
the
It was,
daughters.
like, I don't know, I was just left missing something, and overall, like, up until, like, I think the halfway point, we got some really cool stuff that was going on. I thought it was interesting that the author referenced Ursula K. Le Guin. I
A
haven't read,
fantasy
the
anarchist.
Joe. Yes, I have never heard of that before, but, I mean, the book itself, like, I know what the Anarchist Cookbook is. I
I've
know what this book is,
I
you know?
didn't know. No, not, like, specifically that it was, like, based off of, like, an actual novel or
Really?
no. I
Okay,
mean,
so
I don't
maybe
keep up with
other people
anarchist
don't know what
theory.
this is, and I'm not suggesting that anyone read this, but the Anarchist Cookbook is something that has been around for a very, very long time. It originally came out in the 1970s, and you can still find it online, and do I recommend you look at it? I mean, I think it's a really cool piece of history, and there's some really interesting things on there that if they were in the hands of the general public, especially right now with what's going on, I mean, it could be beneficial. I have heard that some things have been not accurate or maybe they don't function the way it should. Some people think it's suspicious because of what's on there, but I mean, take it with a grain of salt. So I do see like the inspiration behind the book that he gets and how it works, how it's like a living document. I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
But it is a real book. It is a real book. Just saying.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like a real book or anything, but I love the introduction to it too because I feel like it leaves so much open for the rest of the series too, for ways that Carl can like exploit like the AI and like the systems and stuff like that, and then also use it to the benefits of the other crawlers to their best advantage, which I'm really excited to see because there's even like the scene towards the end whenever Mordecai asks to see the book and he's like, not right now. And so like I wonder because I think very early on it's very clearly hey, there's going to be like maybe not necessarily like a full like revolution, but I think like there is going to be a full revolution. Like you kind of get those inkling vibes with the way that Carl slowly gets radicalized against like the Borant Company and the Syndicate entirely, which is very exciting, I think. Because obviously
It
it's like a metaphor for like the American people and things like that.
Yeah, and you're getting in this too is Carl is trying to, in some ways, figure out how he's supposed to navigate the people that have been genetically altered to live and exist in this environment that Borant has constructed for the games. Like, how do you get these people who have these false memories implanted in them to want to rise up? And we're getting some ideas that you can flip the switch for
Yes,
them to realize. However, it's not always yielding the
positive
best
results.
results.
Yeah.
So I think this was kind of like a test for Carl because there is some ways that it did go over positively for them because they realized like they didn't want some people didn't want to continue the games, but they ended up sacrificing themselves in a way that was beneficial to the masses of the game, which I thought it
Mhm.
was really nice, especially like Carl and Donut because they're the
Yes.
main characters. That's what's gonna
Yes.
happen.
Like, there's so much
Um,
community and, like, communal ideologies that are presented in this, which are so, like, nice to see too. Like, it very much does talk about how, like, we need to be in community within each other to actually build up and to be able to rebel. Because I think not only is Carl working towards, like, some type of rebellion within the dungeon, but you can see with the way that he does his interviews and stuff, the way he talks about, like, the Maestro Prince Maestro or whatever his name is, the people that are the oh, what's the planet? Where are they from? You know.
Yes, they're from a different planet. They're the ones that, what,
Yes.
Katya's, um his sister is the one that
That
is
sponsors
giving
her, yeah.
Katya yes, yes. Words
Um,
are hard.
whatever, like, I don't know the exact name because, like, also we haven't gotten to, like, their floor or anything, so I don't think we really know the ins and out. We basically just know that, like, the way that they treat, like, their planet and, like, their people are not necessarily the most positive either, and you can see Carl, like, talking about rebelling against them because Carl I know there's a line too where he specifically, like, "It doesn't matter to me, like, none of these people matter, like, all of them are, like, exploit like, using us, the crawlers, to for entertainment, for money, whatever, and he doesn't like any of them. It doesn't matter like, the viewers he doesn't care about because the viewers, I think, like, very much can represent to like, American Americans, like, using, like, entertainment and, like, seeing, like, tragedies and stuff as entertainment and things like that, and I think it's a very much, like, a critique on, like, privileged classes and things like that, while literally, like, the person that's, like, suffering the most under whatever, like, your government is doing and stuff like that, they're not gonna have any sympathy for you, and you can't blame them for not having sympathy for you because, like, even if they don't support what's going on, it's very much, like, similar to, like, the capital people and stuff like that, like, even if they don't necessarily fully support, they're still passive in what's happening, which we don't know if there's people, like, protesting, like, the crawls and stuff like that either, because like, obviously, we have a very limited scope of the world, which I think it could be cool, like, maybe future Matt Dinniman writing, like, another crawl or something or some, like, other group of people that were already exploited. Because I can't imagine a lot of these people have been, like, exploited and stuff. Because you have, like, Mordecai's people and Odette, like, these people were originally in the crawl, there's no way they actually support doing these crawls and stuff, they're just doing what they have to do to survive still.
All we've really gotten so far is what Dev, right? Is that
Zeb.
I always Zeb. It's Zeb. She talked about how she had to disappear for a little bit
Yes, and now
because
she's getting
of the
re-educated.
bloom. But yeah, she's going to a re-education camp, which is raising some that it worries me. I don't like the way that that was phrased
Well, because
personally,
we don't know
but
what that means either. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's just weird because any time I see anyone critiquing like
re-education.
re-education, it's like done from an anti-communist, and then we have like the Ursula K. Le Guin mention. So I'm like, oh fuck, it's another like anarchist thing.
The
But
Dungeons Anarchist Cookbook is anarchist? What the
I
hell?
I get it, but it's just like one of those where you like stop and you sigh. But I do think
But I don't
that
think
there has to be something happening. We got that inkling. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad
well,
in
like
that way. Like
it could be that. Well, because
I
like
just like
Bloom is still a corporate or it's still a political party in some type of way in some type of corporation, right? Because
yes, it's like a fascist corporate political party that
runs
runs warrant.
yes. So
And it
like
seems to affect the whole
which
system
I'm
because I mean
assuming
fascism does
their which I'm assuming since it is like right wing, we're assuming that like their re-education is going to be like some type of like not like I don't really know like what it like 1984 if it was right. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's like you know what like 1984 we understand as a critique of the USSR, which is wrong. But like I can understand the idea of like with these fascist places like they imprison people and stuff like that. And so then their goal is to brainwash people into believing their fascist ideologies, which I'm assuming is what's happening to Zev. We don't know for
yes, there
sure.
is. There is like re-education. There is like the what do they do? With like the Christian gay
Yes,
re-education
conversion.
type thing. Right? Conversion therapy. Like that exists. And I'm thinking it's along those lines, but I did see the term re-education and it's just like I
Yes.
felt like my brain like a little trigger because it could mean anything. And I'm hoping for the rest. I know it's going to be an anarchist book. I know it's going to be. I know the anarchism is the
No
relevant
Marxist
thing. Sydney,
Leninist.
Sydney, thank you for giving me the tip on that. But
No Marxist Leninist
I I
revolution.
wish. Fuck, it kills me. We're gonna have to compare this to
Matt,
that Paradiso station from the Marxist.
Matt, we got some Marxist Leninist Rex you need to check out in maybe your next series. Once you learn a little bit more. Hmm? Hmm?
I'm crossing my fingers though, because ultimately I think this is gonna be a force of good.
Well, because like the idea
That
is
being
we have the same end goal, you know, which is why like Mariah and Arya are never like, I'm not working with anarchists because they don't have the same ideology as me or whatever. Like we do objectively all have the same end goal. And we're all more on the same page than we are than any liberal or conservative in the United States. Like we all
we're not
understand.
doing
Yeah.
left and fighting on the end. I'm not gonna do that. I do work and I know and I have friends who with IRL anarchists. I know, shock. Sound the alarms.
Ugh.
It's real, it
Fake
happens.
Marxist
But they're
Leninist.
not as insufferable as the people on like Twitter and TikTok. I swear to God. It's fine. It's okay.
But
It's
maybe if you
just
just read
is
I
what it
was an
is.
anarchist too once, and then I started learning and reading some real books. And you know what? Not an anarchist anymore. Just
This
saying.
does tend to be a thing. This
Just
does tend
saying.
I mean,
How many
anything's
anarchists do you know that read theory?
anything's
Just saying.
Kristen.
Just
We're not
saying.
doing left and right. You're like, wait,
I say it with
hold
love.
my
With love.
little heart. I'm giving you my heart.
Like just read, you know, State and Rev, you know. Just a little bit of that. Some Lenin, some Mao. Anyways, back to the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, which is not
Um,
gonna lie, Matt, work on your title. That is not a good title. Just
I
saying.
did not like the title of this one
Just call it the Anarchist Cookbook. Why do you need dungeon in it?
because it's the dungeon. Like I think he didn't want it to be like,
Carl's
oh,
Doomsday scenario has no dungeon mention.
what else? Do we have anything else that we wanted to talk about. I do think that the ending internal monologue, I think, that Carl had was really
Oh,
nice.
about that he wrote in the book? You didn't highlight
Yes, and
it.
I think I had did I not?
Oh, all 20 you only have a bit of it. You don't have the whole thing, though. Oh, and did your copy have hold on.
Mine had a map of one like, a sketch
Yes.
of a map. However, I
I
was thinking of the line holistically, which didn't really click until Katya had explained.
is this in
Yes, I
your
did
book?
have that in mind.
Okay.
Mhm. But I ended up having to, like, go on Canva and, like, designing
Well, it's
because
also
they end up explaining it like it's a bowl of spaghetti noodles, like
yes.
but then it's also, like, flipped on top of itself, and if you look at the side, then it's,
It's
like,
the
the
Borant
logo.
or the Syndicate logo or whatever, which, like,
It was meant I
it's
think
really
it was
hard
a
because
little
we don't know what those look like. You know what I'm saying?
and for those reasons, I think this was a little bit too adventurous, and I know Matt Denman is just a person writing books,
He's just a guy.
and this was very early it's just a guy, and trying to do something cool and interesting that hadn't been done before, and truthfully, I've never seen this done before, however,
No, it was
I
really
think it was
unique.
a little bit too ambitious in some ways. I needed something a little bit more to go
I
off of,
think
whether it was the Syndicate logo or
yeah, like, if that was maybe in the book or, like, even, like, at the end, there was, like, a full map that made sense. Because, like, it is really confusing because it's, like, 2 it's basically, like I mean, I guess technically 3 layers because you have, like, the layer, and then you have, like, the middle that's, like, nothing but also stuff, and then, like, the bottom layer, you know? Where it's, like, almost like a sandwich, I guess you could say, but the train lines are all
but
over
it
the
kind of
place
functions like if you drilled a hole, like, down the middle
through
of
the
the earth,
earth,
like, you can, like,
yes, but then you
bob
end up
back and forth.
yeah. So, like, it is complex, and I do agree that maybe not necessarily all the elements work perfectly, but I think it's also kind of intentionally that way too, because we know that Borant does not have money to keep the crawl going as long as typically it does, right? We know from earlier books on that Borant Corporation is kind of struggling right now, which I don't know how popular like this crawl is either compared to like other crawls. We don't really have that comparison. But I do think that maybe they could have been trying to go for a more complex thing to kill more crawlers too, because they want this to end as quick as possible because they don't get their big payout until it's over, I guess.
I didn't think the mobs made a lot of sense though in some ways. Like the people like who are the conductors,
I
and
wish there
whatnot, I
was
thought those were
more.
fine. But some of like the weird mobs, like I was
Like
needing
which
I didn't
one?
think like any of them were cool until like the monkeys that were actually like frat boys. I thought that was like a nice
Oh,
touch. I wish
you
we had
mean
more of
like
that.
none were
Yeah,
like
you know, like where
critiques like the way that they were on like the first one at least.
but there was like the rabbits and they
Those kind of
needed
scared
like
me. They were like
there's like little
gross,
bunnies and then there was like the
but they were like
brain
nasty.
jellyfish. Um But they kinda just were things, and they were defending portals, and not all the
Yeah.
portal it was just that was honestly, like, my biggest thing. I think if the map had been a little bit more linear in some ways, I think it would've worked better. I know there was different colored
Mhm.
railroads, and I know that rail trains don't function, like, they are a mess, like, it's hard
Yes.
to navigate subways and whatnot, but this was just a lot for because like, Matt Denman is doing world building every single book.
Yes, like, so
That's
this
also part of it.
what has been introduced in this, there are, like, dynamics and, world building aspects that are introduced in this that will be continue to be used for the rest of the series. You know, because we did get a
Yeah, there's
lot about, like, their personal spaces and, like, the crafting elements and stuff like that. We got a lot more insight into that that we haven't had so far. Because this is, like, the first time they've really been crafting, and I think the way since Katya got so much characterization too, we got a lot of understanding of how her doppelgangerness works and things like that, which I think is going to be very important for future books too.
yeah, I think it's
And
just
there is a lot
it's
of
a lot,
drama.
and I'm hoping I saw the map 'cause, they showed at the very end for the next floor. I'm very excited. I think
They
it's gonna
showed a
work
map at
really
the end?
well. I think so. In mine, it seemed like, or maybe I opened up the next book.
I think you best open up the next book because I didn't think mine had a. Mine just went straight into the backstage at Pineapple Cabaret stuff, which I haven't read any of those. I don't know if you did. So at the end of every book, for those that also don't know, it's not in the audiobooks, but in the physical books. I looked it up because I
Yeah,
was
more people
confused.
finished it, and
Oh,
you
what the
can look on
hell?
camera. It makes more like it makes more. It's like a dome. It's a flat dome, and there's
Yeah, that's
different
not in
like
this.
air and land. It's
Oh,
giving more Hunger Games,
yeah, I can see
which
that.
I thought that was very interesting.
But I don't know if you've read any of these. There's like short stories that like take place basically inside the dungeon, I guess, kind of, that are at the end of all the physical books. I don't know if they're at the end of the Kindle books, but I haven't read any of them, but they're supposed to be cute. Like this one is about Growler Gary, so you get some more lore to him. And like the first one had the one of the princess goblins. I think it was about her. And like you get their kind of lore. It's pretty cute. I read part of one, but I was like, give me to the next book. Mostly. I guess maybe now we could talk about if we have any predictions for the next in the series and further on. It is really hard because we are reviewing these two as we're reading them, so we don't have like that overview of full analysis that we could do, which we like once
I
we
don't know.
finish.
I just think like Carl's ending monologue where he said like all of you, all 24 of you have come before me, you've all failed in one thing. If we're not really going to burn this place to the ground, we need to actually do it and not just talk about it. We need to start killing them too. I don't know for sure how to do it yet, but I'll come up with something. So Carl, mentally, what we're not seeing is cooking up a plan. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard because now the chats are live, so people can
Yes,
see the chat. So it's like
there's
everything
nothing
surveillance
secret.
state.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's going to be more of an element in the next book with him figuring out how to actually come up with a plan to
Communicate. Yeah.
deconstruct and communicate those plans. And I know he wants to talk to Mordecai. I
Yes.
know it. He wants to explain some things, but I don't know how he's going to end up doing it. I hope that Katya. I really hope Katya stays around for a while. She's also like one of the highest. If she's the highest person in the game, right?
No,
Like
it's
level
still
or no?
it's that random guy that got the cape at the end of he's the
Oh
highest
yes.
level, but Lucia Mar I think is still number 1. Because I know the goat lady is also or I don't know if the goat lady is in the
Yeah,
top
what's
10
going on with the goat
or
lady and the goat?
the goat. I like he was so funny to me because I loved his little scene with, Donut.
With Donut?
They were kinda cute. I thought it was kinda funny. But I do like Katya, and I do think I don't know, like, I haven't read any of Matt Denham and stuff, but if he does a nice, beautiful, slow burn romance for Katya and Carl, there will be no qualms for me. I think I really like Katya. I really like Carl. I think they're really fun together, and I do like that Katya is becoming more sure of herself, more a much stronger character rather than being so timid and stuff. And I like that Carl will stand up to her and stuff like that.
Yes, I'm glad that she's not just a passive character because I didn't know, like, the way she was acting, I thought she was gonna get killed off. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of
Yeah.
like one of those characters where it felt like a throwaway character, and I'm glad he decided not to do that because
Well, that's
need we need
Katya
a girl, we need a woman up in here,
besides Donut.
besides Princess Donut because she's like a cat, but it's still very immature cat because she's just come into sentience.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
do think like her
I
killing Hecla was incredibly shocking to
that
me.
was fucking crazy. That
I
was
was like
so cool. I was like,
which love that for
clap,
her.
clap.
Yeah.
Let's go. Even if it was an accident, because
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck it. I did not. I knew it was bad. I knew Hecla, and
She was
it just
sus.
seemed it was so
She
sus.
was definitely the imposter among us. Um,
What is this? 2020?
I mean, when was this
Mongoose?
book published?
You have Mongoose on your phone? 2021?
Exactly. This is Among Us age. He's like, I'm
It was
voting out
April
Hecla.
2nd of 2021.
Which I was so happy because I was really worried too. I liked the way that that scene was done because I was very much worried about Donut and her like, not necessarily that I don't think she would ever leave Carl in any way, shape, or form, like, at all. I know she would not abandon Carl. Like, I love their dynamic so much, but I'm glad she got to see Hecla shooting at Katya, and Donut stood up for Katya too, because that was, like, a little bit of a conflict halfway through the book where you were, like, unsure because like, Princess Donut and Carl are ride or die for each other, but, like, Katya is, like, just more of an extra person, and I think once that happened, it solidifies that they're definitely at least, like, a trio, a quad if you count, like, Mongo, which he's not much of a character, but and I'm hoping, like, in the future books, we get a lot more characterization for, like, Amani and Ellie and, Batista, like, all of
We still have
that.
Chris. We don't know what's
Yeah,
going on with
we don't
Chris,
know
but we
what's
know that Chris is trying to find Carl, and Chris is
yes,
also not the same
he's evil
because his
now.
no, I don't
Well,
know if
not, like,
he's evil
evil,
or
but,
if
like,
like,
his
it
vibes are
changed
off.
him.
Yeah, which
So, which I think is a really interesting, aspect that they decided to add into this, is how your class could change your whole
personality.
personality and who you are to your core. Because you can see it with some of the other
But that's the
characters and how
thing
they
is
act
that,
about
like, how much has it really changed though? Because, like, these could be these people's true selves, and they weren't able to fully express that in, like, the human world. And now whenever you're put into a life or death situation, you know what I'm saying? Like,
really, this is like a big, like, philosophical Lord of the Flies
yeah.
slash the, what is this Stanton there's a what is it? Stanford Prison
Oh, yeah,
Experiment?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like, I think that could have some elements to it as well because I do think that, like, with the way that like, obviously, like, I think the buffs and, like, their stats as they change, the characters change a little bit too, but feel like from all of the characters that we've seen, like, from their transformations, it's like, yes, they're different, but I feel like their core is still the same, so I'm wondering if the core for Chris was always like this, and then just whatever his classes now made him more comfortable within himself to do whatever choices he's making, which I feel like it's almost kinda like a red herring sort of thing. One thing too, Frank is dead, which is a big, big thing. He died, Frank Q. But then
yeah.
Maggie's still on the prowl to kill Donut and Carl. So I feel like that ring is gonna have something big too, because Carl was pissed off about that. And we got to learn a lot about Carl's life before this, where we learned that his mom, Kermit, died, and tried to kill his dad too. You know, just girly things.
But
When you try to kill your
I have high
abusive
hopes.
husband, which is, like, crazy lore drop.
Yeah, no, that was a lot, like, there'd be, like, the random moments, I was like, "Oh, this is kinda heavy." I
Yeah,
will say, I'm a little sad because this was supposed to be my nice, light little read before bed. This is not.
you can't
This
do
is
that
not that
anymore. You gotta
anymore.
lock the fuck
Nope.
in.
I'm locked in. The next one, we are having, I think, gods
The feral
guarding.
gods.
Yes, because obviously it's called the feral gods, but
Yes.
also I know that they're supposed to be guarding the portals and stuff coming soon, and I don't know if this is
The
when
stairwells.
they had said in the yes, yes, like, going down, if it was around this time because I know bosses were, but then eventually you have to start fighting, like, higher level creatures, and I think this might be
Which
coming
technically
to a
Carl
point.
beat a boss, which not, like, Carl himself, but, like, them as a team, they were able to outsmart the system, which I feel like because of the way that they were able to teleport, like, Null or whatever the god is away, I feel like they're going to add some patches into that to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely different this next round with their patches when they drop into the floor because usually they have, like, a couple hours in, like, their safe room or something to go over things,
Yeah,
I
game
think.
plan and stuff. Well, I think they kind of get spit out somewhere, and they find a safe room pretty quickly. Is like their
Oh, that's
goal.
right, because 'cause they're, like, gonna sleep, but then
Yeah, then they just like wake up on the floor.
find out. I'm
Yes,
excited. If you are liking this series, let us know what you think. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. Keep an eye out for Selena. We're gonna be posting these every month, once a month. You're getting
yes.
one leading up until November, which is going to be the newest
According
book,
to
which the new
Goodreads,
cover looks
that
great,
one's already
according
out though.
to Matt Dinniman's Facebook page, which Matt Dinniman is a millennial, he uses Facebook. So
I
that's where
think
I
he's
go
older
for
than a
all of my
millennial. No
information.
offense.
I'm okay with it. I'm not mad about
Like
it.
the thing is that like me and Tyler were honestly talking about like we're honestly surprised that he's so no offense old. You know what I'm saying? Because like
Well, no offense.
no offense to Matt Denman if he's listening.
Oh, I
You
thought you
know?
were saying that to me for some reason. I was like, "Well, damn."
No, I think he's older than you. I don't know. He's gray. I feel like I don't know. Was giving the vibe that he was Gen X, just like
Yeah, I
the
think he
way he
posted
looks.
on his Facebook when it was coming out, and it was pretty spot on with what
Well, the inevitable run is already out on KU, I think, which is the one where the cover just got released. I think
okay.
that because that's and then now we're getting like because all of these are being they were originally indie published, I think, up to that one, and then now they're all getting trad published. I think. Don't quote me on that. Because they're supposed to be the eighth one. Yeah, because the inevitable run is on Audible right now. That's book 7. Book 8, according to Goodreads, is supposed to come out. It says November, I think.
Wait, no, so the Inevitable Run is the 7th book
Yes, which is
because
already on
they're
KU, but that's being
how
trad
is it
published and
already on
it's being
but
trad published. It was published November 11th, 2024.
but I thought it was the Eye of the Bedlam Bride that's coming out. Oh, maybe I'm
No,
just looking
that
at the
one
wrong
came
list.
out. Oh, Eye of Bedlam Bride just came out last last month, at the end of
Okay.
last month.
I was like, "What are you
But
talking
this
about?"
one,
Okay.
according to Goodreads, right here, unnamed book
I know, but
8.
sometimes they're wrong.
Well, it says not
Freaking
yet
me out.
published, but expected November 1st, 2025.
Easy get with it.
So, Matt, let us know. And whenever you're looking for ARC readers,
I think I'm just gonna start emailing Carl.
his name's not
Like,
Carl.
we're friends.
Hey, Matt.
I use Carl in my head. I think Carl is Matt's self-insert. So in my head, Carl.
That's what I would think too. Um, which is what we're assuming, which I feel like it would make sense. So look, so Beldam Bride came out in May, so June, July, August, September. I guess that's 4 months ish for that. But this is like the first newish published book. And I've seen sources where people have said that this is going to be a 10 total book series. That's just people on Goodreads though, which they said that Matt Dinman said elsewhere, which I haven't seen because I'm trying not to look up anything like that
We're just
until
trying to get through them all.
I've read them all because I don't want no spoilers. Because like every time I see someone talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl on my For You page, I scroll because I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Anyways, but yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. We're very excited for the next book, which will be next month. This is coming out, I think, in July. So I have no
Yes.
idea what we're posting next because this is early June for us. This is a pre-recording to get all of these done because we're binging all of these.
If you'd like to join the book club, we're not reading Carl for the book club, but you can join our book club to read along with us with the other books. Maybe
Litlib
you can
Pod.
catch up and read Carl along with us if you want to just read a book a month. That's in a series. We haven't done a series. Well,
Well,
no. We did
technically we are
Hunger Games this
now.
year. But now we are in a series. This is nice. It's been nice to do this. We're
Yeah.
dabbling, and I think We'll see what the year will bring us with Carl.
Yes. So far, high hopes. Every book, certified banger. I recommend these books
High
literally to
hopes and
everyone. If you've ever touched a video game controller, I'm telling you about this book. Dead ass. I think literally you play Baldur's Gate, pick this book up. I don't care. If you don't even play Baldur's Gate, if you
I
play like
don't think you need
COD.
to.
No, I just think video people that are in the video game sphere are not necessarily big readers, but I think if you're looking to like if you're one of those people, like I'm assuming people that listen to this are readers and stuff like that. But if you know somebody that's like, I'm not a reader, I hate reading, or like I haven't read a book since I was in high school, ha ha ha, like a flex, whatever that is. Literally I recommend this book to literally everybody. I don't care if they've never read a book in their life.
I think if you are somebody that likes which I said this in the first episode, I believe, the manga or the anime Solo Leveling, which got Anime of the Year, by the way, beat out Frieren.
I don't even know what
You
that
probably
is.
like Frieren. Frieren's really cute. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to start because the animation is really well. Solo Leveling, the vibes are very similar, but obviously there's a lot more of like Japanese storytelling with like the underdog, which is kind of like this in a ways, but
I
I
mean,
think
Carl's
if you
top
like that
10. I
type of
don't think
thing,
you can call him underdog.
well, now, I mean, like getting into
Even
it, he
early
was
on,
in
though.
with his pink Crocs and underwear. Like
I
he
mean, he's
kind of
still
had to
in
get it
his
together
underwear.
quick.
He's in his
Yeah,
underwear still and no shoes, so he's lost
on
clothing.
brand now.
Um,
Anyways, but that's
yeah,
it. That's all I had to say.
yeah, that's
That's
other
it.
than
That's all you're getting from me.
um, yeah, other than that, thank you and good night.